For me, this text has been one of the most enriching texts in my life because it teaches us that we all come with some kind of karma. We all come with things that we need to do and finish. And we don't want to sometimes. We want to run away. We want to say, no, this I don't want to do. And the eldest one,
she was busy.
Yeah, busy. And the eldest one was Duryodhana. Okay? And
the same name as the uncle?
No,
Duryodhana?
Dhritarashtra, his father.
Oh,
the uncle is Drona. No, Drona is the teacher. There's lots. You don't want to get confused, all right? There's so many names. I don't want to confuse you. I'm trying to make it really quite simple, all right? So you've got here 2 brothers. One has 5 sons, and the other one has 100. All right? So what happens? Pandu dies, and so the 5 boys have to go and be brought up by the other brother. So they live with 100 stepbrothers. But of course, because the 5 sons of Pandu are so loved, because they're so wonderful, they bear all the good qualities, Duryodhana, the eldest son, and his brothers, they all develop jealousy. Now, how come they're better at everything we do? You know, they're better at archery, they're better, so they develop this jealousy. So soon the boys realize with their mothers that they can't rule the kingdom together. So what do? They partition the kingdom, and the 5 brothers rule one, and the 100 with the father, the stepfather, rules the other. What happens to the kingdom of the 5 brothers? It prospers. It becomes rich. Lots of people go there. Because of their goodness, everything proliferates, everything grows, and then they're so famous all over India that everybody goes and visits them. So of course now, the 100 brothers fueled with even more jealousy. So Duryodhana now starts to plot. He starts to say, I've got to get away to bring Yudhishthira here. He likes gambling. You see, even good people gamble. We'll get him here, but we'll cheat at the gambling game. He talks to his uncle, Shakuni. We'll cheat, we'll make him lose all the kingdom, because he cannot be embarrassed, but we'll cheat, and we'll do this in front of everybody, and they plan all this, okay? So they invite their stepbrothers, the 5 brothers, say, come to our house, and let's play a game, let's make friends, let's be together, and after this challenge, we'll all be one family. So the plot thickens. Oh, sound effects. At this point, I'd like to tell you something. At this point, I'd like to stop and give you a little bit of the allegory, all right? Now, if you look at the Pandavas, there are 5. And the Kauravas, we call them the Kauravas, they're 100. And this is similar to our lives, our brain, our qualities. 100 negative qualities to 5 extremely good qualities. We are constantly at that. All right? And I'll continue this later. So anyway, Yudhishthira comes to their house, and he starts to lose. Another game, he loses a palace, he loses the gardens, he loses the whole country, and then finally, he even bets his wife, Draupadi. Because he thought, I can't lose, this is not possible, I'm really good at this game. So even in good people, there are weaknesses, right? It's interesting to watch. I can't lose. He didn't believe his stepbrother would cheat. He really didn't believe it, because it was all done, he thought, in honor. So anyway, so he loses, and this is a very, very, very famous story that's used in all the Hindu texts. And so they take Draupadi, who's the wife, and the Duryodhana says, now she belongs to us. We're going to strip her in public. And that's the worst insult for an Indian woman. So she's screaming, Now Draupadi, long story, is married to the 5 brothers. She's actually married to Arjuna, but they promised to share her. Okay, we don't want to go into the details because you'll ask me lots of questions. So we'll leave it at the moment. So she's there and she goes, how can you do this to me? How can you do this to me? You know, help me, help me. And Bhima, the strong one, is so angry at his brother. How can you do it to her? And Arjuna is so angry. But the word of honor
Stands.
yes, they won her. So she's really angry and they start pulling her sari. And she's holding her sari and she's going, Krishna, help me, help me, help me. And they're pulling it and they're pulling it and she's holding it. And then she suddenly thought, you know, nobody can help me. So I'll just ask Krishna and I trust him to do whatever he wants. So she puts her hand up and says, Krishna, 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 look at my husbands, they can't help me. But you can help me, you can help me, I know you'll help me. And when she does that and she doesn't hold the sari, they roll and they roll it and more men come to roll and it just doesn't come off. It's like meters and meters and it doesn't roll off. So they fall down in exhaustion. And what is the lesson there?
Surrender.
When you surrender to the highest, you see, we say we surrender. Many people, oh, I surrender, I can't do it anymore, but I'm going to do it my way. We hold on to our way. We want things our way. And then when you really reach a point when you're so angry and you see nobody on this earth can help you. Nobody on this earth. The people that love you most, that promise to look after you and care for you all your life have let you down. What else have you got left? What else have you got left? And that's the symbolism of this story. And you'll hear it a lot when you go and they talk about Hindu stories. This is one of the very, very famous story to explain surrender, pure surrender. So anyway, so after that, Krishna interferes and says, you know, this is not right. This is wrong. There must be some cheating here, because this could not happen. But of course, they disagree, said, no, 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 we've won this fairly. So he comes with a suggestion. He says, why don't you do this? Let the Pandavas with their family go away for 12 years. And then on the 13th year, they can mix around with everybody, but incognito. In other words, you can't see them or recognize them. And if they can do these 13 years like that, in 12 years in the forest, and the 13th year, nobody finds them, then if they can achieve that, then you must promise them that you give them back everything they lost in this card game. That's honorable. They paid their debt for playing this game, and you give them back what belongs to them. Everybody agrees. So very sadly, they go into the forest, they suffer a lot, and many times over the 12 years, these stepbrothers try to find them, they send people out. In fact, they lived in many places, they tried to burn them, they tried to kill them, but always because they were honorable. And Yudhishthira used to pray, and all of them said, no, we just come, we must fulfill our dharma. This is our karma. We have to fulfill it, there's no way to do it. Just accept. So anyway, after the 13 years, they managed the 13 years. And if you read the Mahabharata, many of the stories are very, very nice. Nice to tell children, because children love all these exciting stories. So they finish the 13 years, and they come back. And so they go to Duryodhana, we've done it, and now you can give us back our land. And they go, and he goes, I won't even give you land the size of the point of a needle. And then the mother Kunti says, you know what, now you have to fight. You have done your tapas, you've done everything that you're supposed to do, you've been honorable. And after being so honorable for so long, they still won't give you back what they promised to. Now they are dishonorable. You have to wage war. So they didn't want to wage war, but they had no choice. So anyway, Duryodhana, Lord Krishna, is God incarnated in this whole story. Like your Jesus is God incarnated, or these great souls is God incarnated. So Krishna was living at that time in a body. So he knew everything that was going on. And he knew that both brothers would ask for his help. So what happens is, he says, oh, they're both going to come more or less at the same time. What I'm going to do is lie on the sofa and pretend I'm sleeping. Let's see what happens. So Duryodhana comes first and goes, I'm first. I am first. So now Krishna has to grant my wish first. So he stands at the head very proudly. No, he sits on the head. There's a chair on the head of Krishna, and he sits on the head very proudly. Arjuna walks in. And in the Hindu culture, we were speaking about that earlier, when you're in front of a very great soul, you don't sit until they tell you to sit. So Arjuna stands up at the feet of Krishna as he's lying down. So of course Krishna opens his eyes, and the first person he sees is Arjuna. So Duryodhana said, you have to talk to me first because I came first. He said, you may have come first, but I saw him first. So you came first, I saw him first, so to be fair, I have to listen to you both, but I'll ask him what, I will offer what you ask me to offer, and then we'll see what happens. So Krishna says, now you're going to war. I'm going to tell you, I can only offer you two things, and you have to choose. He looks at Arjuna. I can offer you all my armies, I have so many armies, or you can have me, and I will not fight. But I'll sit in your chariot when you're at war. I'll be sitting there with you. And Arjuna goes, of course, Krishna, of course I'm going to choose you. Of course, without you, what good is anything? Because Arjuna, in his physical body, has recognized something so holy in Krishna. I know him all his life as a family member, but he recognized something very holy in him. Without you, I can do nothing. And Duryodhana goes, thank God my brother's a fool. I got all the armies, and he's so happy he's got all the armies. So he said, we're going to go into war. After they both left, and Krishna thought, let's see if we can prevent this war. So he says, I'll give it one more chance. I'm going to give Duryodhana one more chance. I'm going to go to his house and tell him to make peace with his stepbrother and give them what they deserve. So he goes to the house, but then he has his vision and he sees that Duryodhana has made a fake throne for Krishna. And if Krishna sits on this throne, he'll sink into a pit and he was going to get him killed. But of course, Krishna had this being, God incarnated, had the vision. He had the vision. So he went on the throne, and the throne collapsed, but Krishna could just levitate. And then he said to Duryodhana, I came here to give you one chance for peace. One more chance. But what? Now you've had it. You have had it. We are going to war, and I'm with the Pandavas. And he left. So here starts the Bhagavad Gita. At this point, and if you look at this, up to this point, and you look at the allegory, how many times in our life we've given people chances and chances and chances? And it comes to a point, you're breaking. So they're giving you 100 or 1,000 chances, and you're not listening. Sometimes, if your motive is for the highest good, you have to fight. But your motive has to be for the highest good. Because many of us would like to run away from the fights. It's far easier. How can I fight with my family? And this is where the Gita starts. At the battlefield. You got Duryodhana, all the 100 brothers, and all the millions of armies. You got the Pandavas, 5 brothers, with a small army, but with Krishna. You got Krishna on the chariot with Arjuna. And he's driving the chariot. And they have 5 white horses. You know that. The 5 white horses represent our senses. Talking, seeing, smelling, you know, what we live in this earth with. And the reins that are held, if God holds your reins, then you will go in the right direction. Right? So this is and the chariot is the body, represents our body. This is the body we live in. When you trust the highest good, you feel much more safe. It means you still have to go into war. Doesn't mean you don't. So anyway, Arjuna says to Krishna, can we drive to the middle? This starts chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. Can we drive to the middle of the field? Because I want to see what we're up against. Even though he's the third brother, the average, the not so good and the not so bad, he has been chosen to be the warrior that leads this war. And again, the allegory. Not the best, not the worst. Somebody in the balance, you know. So it's very interesting because when you read this Gita, you can see there are many, you can read it once and 100 times and 1,000 times, many things that the more you read it, you understand where your mind comes from and how you work with your battles. The first time you don't understand, the second time you don't understand, you read it the fourth or fifth time, you go, ah, I really know, my answers are all here, what should I do when I'm at battle? And this is why it's such a precious, precious gift, the Gita. Such a precious gift. So anyway there, Krishna takes them and Arjuna looks. He looks and he sees his grandfather, whom he loves, and the opposite team. Of course, the grandfather lived in the household of Dhritarashtra for so many years. How could he not be on their team? Do you see, sometimes people even know somebody is wrong and they can't help the right person out of obligation. Out of obligation. Then he sees his teacher. Arjuna sees his teacher who taught him his archery, who loved him above all else, on the opposite team. And he goes, that's my teacher. How can I hurt my teacher? And the teacher the same, even though he knew the others were right. The other family is the one who gave them the living, and he's been living with them all these years. See how life happens many times, don't you think, when something in your life goes wrong, and you say, but these are my friends, how come they didn't take my side? Hasn't it happened to you? That feeling? How come they just taking the other person's side? How come they didn't say, I understand what you're going through? It's life. It's life. So anyway, he sees them, and then this is where I'd like to start reading the Gita for you. Did I take out that? I must have brought it. My bag, yes.
You haven't left it on the wall, have you?
No.
Is it behind you?
It's behind me. Clever girl. It's behind you. It's right here and you don't see it. That's what Gurudev always said. You know, it's right here and you don't see it. It's far away and you see it. So I'd like to read to you this because this is my favorite copy. Well, the whole book is. I keep saying it's my favorite because everything is my favorite. So, oh, by the way, I have 2 of Gibraltar newsletters. If anybody can't get on the computer, yes. Okay, yeah, one minute. You ask first, you get. Yeah. Okay. So he sees all these people on the battlefield. It's okay, it's one of those days.
Glasses not there, is it?
This is what you get when you move house. No glasses.
What do you need?
Glasses.
Have you got some glasses?
No. Maybe I can read. Which one?
Use
No.
mine.
Again, they're on my lap.
God's testing you today.
What is the message? What is the message? It's already here. Don't worry. That's what he said. You don't have to look. Everything you need is here. Because I didn't think today. I was so busy, I just came without thinking. So, again, I'm protected. Everything I need is here. So, here he goes at the battlefield. And Arjuna, I'll read this to you, okay? Arjuna no longer saw them as enemies. Until then, he had regarded them as wicked. But the moment he stood between the armies, he saw these familiar categories instead. You know, sometimes when you're really, really angry with someone and you know you have to fight a battle, and then when you say, well, do I really want to fight it? I really do love them. They're really not my enemies. My stepbrother, they're this, they're that. On seeing his friends and relatives positioned on both sides, Arjuna was overcome with pity and said despondently, oh Krishna, my limbs fail me, my mouth is parched, my body is shaking, and my hair stands on end, seeing my relatives gathered here and anxious to fight. Arjuna's bow fell from his hand. My skin is burning. I can't keep standing, and my mind seems to be reeling. I see bad omens, Krishna. I cannot see any good resulting from the slaughter of my own people in battle. Krishna, I do not want victory, kingdom, or even pleasures. What use is there for kingdom, pleasures, or even life? Those for whom we might desire kingdom, enjoyment, and pleasures are here ready for battle, having renounced life and wealth. Before me are teachers, fathers, sons, and even grandfathers, uncles, father-in-laws, grandsons, brother-in-laws, and other relatives. Though they may kill me, Krishna, I do not want to kill them, even for the sake of dominion over the three worlds, much less just for this earth. What pleasure would be ours, Krishna, by killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Only trouble will come to us for killing these murderers. See, he knows they are murderers. So, though their understanding is clouded by greed, you see, he knows, though their understanding is clouded by greed and they feel no guilt about exterminating an entire family or showing hostility towards friends. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Now look at Arjuna. When he sees all his family, he starts to get nervous. He starts to get scared. My limbs fail me. I'm shaking. I can't breathe. My body is trembling. My hair stands on end. How many of you felt like this in life when you just before a battle? The fear, the biggest battles in your life, the fear. And you go, what for? And he's saying, what for? He's telling Krishna, why should I do this? I do not even want the land. I do not want this. I do not want that. What's the point of killing these people? What's the point? What will I achieve? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then what pleasure would be ours? And then in the next breath he goes, even though they're greedy, even though they want to kill all of us, even though they want to do this, even though they're hostile, and the second breath, so he knows that they have all these qualities. He doesn't want to hurt them. So, and then he goes on and making many, many excuses. He says, you know, if we go into battle, all the men die, and then, I won't go into details. He said, when we go into battle, all the men die, and what will happen to all the women? They will be raped, and what's going to go happen? We can't do this. It will bring a lot of disruption, right? So why are we doing this? I don't want the kingdom. I don't want the pleasures. I don't want anything. It would be far better for them to kill me than for me to go into battle. And at this, Arjuna threw his bow and arrow on the floor and was overcome with deep sorrow. He saw what was ahead of him. Already in the battlefield. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to turn back. He really doesn't want to do it. So,
Hmm.
when Krishna saw Arjuna overcome with sentiment, eyes blurred with tears of despair, the blessed Lord said to him, or Krishna said to him, from whence arises this shameful and cowardly dejection, Arjuna, which at this dangerous moment bars your way to heaven? Look at that. He's saying, why have you become a coward? It's not that he didn't try to make peace. How many years? They did everything. So now we've discussed everything. We tried to make peace everywhere. We've done all this. So now why are you last minute becoming cowardly? Yield not to weakness. It does not suit you. Shake off this petty faint-heartedness. Stand up, scorcher of foes. Wake up. Now he tries to encourage him, scorcher of foes. See, Arjuna's reputation in the world that they lived in at that time. What was he born as? A warrior. He was known to be the greatest, the most